Acha ji, what are data structures in SAP? Data structures can be client-specific data and cross-client customizing. Client-specific is related to one landscape. And by client, I mean not any business client, but your server, development server, QA server, and production server. In SAP, where do we see the client? We click here at Session Manager, and we have the client. So in SAP, there is a client-specific data which is only specific to that server, to that landscape. It could be development server, for example, where you have written the code, or it can be cross-client customizing where you are integrating your ABAP code with third-party software. So a client is a unit which can be a business, organization, and data, any of these or all of these. Okay. And the server, of course, is deemed as a client. So a client has its own data environment and it has its own transaction data and own user data. So in production server, the data will be different from the data we have in development server. So data in client is also called client-specific data. So in a client, we have repositories, repo, that we call in software industry, repo, where all ABAP code objects are residing, which can be transported to another client, which can be QA client or a production client. So your ABAP code can be transported to another client. So it is cross-client. So ABAP on one client has its own tables, data elements, domains, and programs, along with menus and screens. Menus and screens, we saw that in the last lecture. So repo objects, when they are grouped, it becomes packages. So what are packages? These are containers which link objects together. And what are objects? Program, tables, structures. These are put in one package, one container. Okay. So that when you transport the package, it takes all the table, the data, the logic, the structures, fields, everything, and the logic of the programs along with it. So this is how the data structure is maintained in SAP. For ABAP, the structure is something like this. The repo is residing at the application layer. This can be your presentation layer. Presentation layer is what user uses. Okay. In repo, we have tables, transactions, functions, structures, everything. And we have module, SAP module, data, and structures as well. We group all this and becomes packages. So package can be transported from one client to another client. And every client can have some specific customizing configuration for company codes, plants, store locations, distribution centers, and so on. And every client will have a separate set of user logins, authorizations, and so on. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I go to SU01, was net, change So we have defaults, which are for different purpose, date format, time format, and we have time zone. We have parameters. Every user will have their own set parameters, and the parameters can be different for every function, like upper and lower case, personal country grouping, roles of a manager will be different from an end user. Roles for finance manager will be different from inventory manager. These are specific to a client, and client is 100. Okay. So if we speak of user authorizations, this is how user authorizations are given. Okay. On a personal level. So client specific configuration is different in a 100 client from 200 client. Application data, this is the quantum of data that we have. Okay. Now, speaking of programming at an advanced level, we have 3 levels: database, application, presentation. Presentation layer has users using the transaction codes. They see the screens, but they cannot see what is going on at the application level and at the database level. The application guys, the ABAP guys, they have access to everything. That is the liberty. They can see, they can modify, they can configure, customize presentation layers. And ABAP also works with the database. So the power of ABAP is unlimited when it comes to handling a client. Okay. There are infinite number of opportunities in ABAP because of this privilege. So all applications, all modules, all logic, all forms, screens are developed using ABAP. And ABAP is event driven. Event driven means you click a button, that is an event. You give parameters to a field and execute, that is an event. Okay. So ABAP is basically the brains of SAP and ownership of SAP. So the workbench that we will use for ABAP, we will use the editor, data dictionary, screen painter for making reports, menu painter for making menus for custom made transactions. So ABAP editor, SC38. Okay, this is the editor. SC11, ABAP dictionary. Okay. Then we have different areas where we will be working separately. Menu painter, screen painter, okay. And these areas is what we will be covering in later stages. So ABAP, starting with ABAP, as we have seen, the logic can be more than one statement, okay. And Every logic has a statement that defines either a variable or an action or an output. Okay. So in that very statement, the first word is the keyword. Okay. And that the good thing is ABAP is not case sensitive. Okay. So for example, SC38 Z 21st March data structures create executable program, save local object. Local object means it cannot be transported. So the package, it has everything as we discussed right now. I hope this is clear, right?
Okay, sir.
I'm going a little bit slow so that we can have a better understanding. Right? System datum. Check. Activate. Enter. Direct processing. So what is the date? 21/3. Where is this format coming from? From user authorization. I told you, right? Let me show you that. SU01 change defaults date format. Gregorian date save. Now let me go to SC38 change
सर ये AC38 क्या है सर?
ABAP editor. This is the T code for ABAP editor. This is where you will write the program. Direct processing, it did not change. Okay. It did not change for some reason. SC38. Executable program. Save. Local object. Because we didn't, I believe we didn't save the SU01 change default save SC38 change system date activate direct processing didn't change still should have shown it is taking the system date which is system of my laptop. That is one reason also. Otherwise, it will have shown it. So as discussed, because it's picking up the system date, which is the laptop date, which is we are using Asian time. Okay. Now the first word report, since we are actually building logic over here in editor, every program that you will write will be either report or structures, or you'll be building altogether a transaction code. Right now, default is report. And right, again, anything in blue is SAP keyword. Report is SAP keyword. Write is standard SAP keyword. And this is default for defined by SAP for printing or using date format. Okay, got the idea? Okay, let me show you. SC11. Okay, SC11, we will have user 01 change logon language original. Oh, okay. Logon language. So what is this user master record that we saw, which was SU01? Okay, client 100, username in user master record. It forces initial data to be there. It cannot be empty. It forces us. Okay, and we have other fields which take up the parameters, and every field has a data type: character, numeric, alphanumeric, string, language. Okay, so that's how now SC93 MM01 change. Okay, we will have GUI support and GUI for Windows enabled here. Save. On request was net. ABAP config. Professional user transaction, easy web transaction. If you want to run this on the web, on the internet, then web, or using the server. Okay. So this is how we can define presentation layers. The database layer, of course, as I told you, was USR01 in SE11 in the dictionary. This part, GUI support, is for presentation layer. Okay, got it? Okay. Now, let me write a new program. Data struct MAKT, create MAKT executable program. Enter local. Okay. Over here, I am defining a variable by using keyword data. WMACT. WA by WA means work area. This is not SAP standard, but this is our language, work area, where we can code the logic and give data. MAKT is a table. Type MAKT. MAKT is a table. I'll show you next. Select single record from MAKT from MAKT, which is original SAP table, into work area MAKT, which is our variable, where Matner material number equals 100, right? MAKT. Okay. Or P underscore Matner, type Matner parameters, P Matner, check. Where equals P underscore Matner, check. Activate enter direct processing, P Matner. I'll keep it empty. Execute. Nothing. Okay. Zero. Nothing. No record yet. But what I want is to pull data from MAKT. What is MAKT? Let's see that. SC11 MAKT, change material number. Matner is material number, material descriptions. Okay. All good? All good, everyone?
जी सर.
Okay.
Sir, okay.